As you saw in my last video, I just moved into a brand new 14th floor stunning apartment downtown Dallas, best location in the city, for $2,700 a month. This is the temporary studio setup. I wish you could see the view behind me. And I've been getting a lot of comments saying, Trent, that's very financially irresponsible of you. So in response, I'm gonna make a video talking about money, specifically as it relates to your ability to produce more money in the future, which should actually give you more confidence to spend in the present. I'm gonna talk about your exit number. How much money do you actually need to feel wealthy? And then finally, what is the best path to become wealthy as we break down appreciating assets versus productive assets, and how I am trying to build wealth as a 26-year-old guy who makes a lot of money for my age, but I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to all things personal finance. There's a lot more people online who make way more money than me that probably have more useful insights. So I'm not gonna tell you what you should actually be doing. I'm gonna tell you and show you what I'm doing so that you can decide for yourself what is best for your financial future. I picked up Chipotle on my way home from work tonight because it's one of my favorite meals. It's relatively affordable, it tastes really good, it fills you up. And I purchased 2 sides of guacamole tonight solely so I could make this point. The reason I bought 2 sides of guacamole is not because I actually needed the extra food. It's because at one point in my life, I didn't feel like I could afford a single side of guacamole. I had a scarce mindset. I was thinking in the terms of Trent, you shouldn't pay the extra $2.50 for the guacamole. You should save it because your future self will thank you for it. I got to a point where I said, well, maybe I want to use money to increase the quality of my life. And you should never think in terms of scarce mindset because there's actually abundance. And this is represented in the form of rising inflation rates. You see these articles such as the cost of goods are increasing, the cost of gas per gallon is more expensive now than ever, consumers are gonna have holes burnt in their pockets with the rising cost of going to grocery stores. Basically, as more money is printed, your money becomes devalued. And the fact that the government can even print more money means there's basically an infinite money supply. And there's billions of people on the planet, so you should basically feel confident that no matter how much money you spend now, you can always produce and generate more money in the future. And this is one of the biggest reasons why money freaks people out and people don't buy 2 sides of guacamole, is because they say, I need to save money, I need to invest it, and we're gonna talk about where I'm investing my money later in this video. You should never be fearful of losing deals in your sales job, of not having enough money, because there's actually an abundance of money. The money's not even yours to begin with, and you should be confident in your ability to produce more in the future. And that's why you need to get into a performance-based career. Tech job, so that could be an engineer, investment banking, which is high finance, or doing some sort of sales role, specifically enterprise sales, which is the path I'm on, trying to become an enterprise software sales representative. So long as you are in the right performance vehicle, you will always have the opportunity to generate more income in the future, and that should give you confidence right now in the present, because the present moment is all we have, to be comfortable spending money to increase your quality of life. And that's why I decided to move from North Dallas, Plano, paying $1,500 a month, to downtown Dallas in the absolute best spot in the best building with a hot tub, sauna, cold plunge, in a beautiful location, stunning views, to pay $2,700 a month, because I said, I'm willing to pay the extra money because it's gonna push me to work harder. And if I think that that's a lot of money, that's actually a scarce mindset. It's the same thing with the Chipotle 2 guacamoles versus paying more in rent. You may be listening to this message right now saying, Trent, you're so right, I should go upgrade the quality of my life, or your blood is boiling and you're thinking, Trent, you're so disconnected from reality. You happen to work at a fast-growing technology company, you make a lot of money for your age. It's easy for you to go and say that. And it's an important point you're thinking, because wealth and money is all relative. If everybody was making $1 million a year, then making $1 million a year wouldn't be so special anymore. If everyone drove around in a Bugatti, then you wouldn't think that car is as cool anymore and everyone would have one. Wealth is relative, so you need to ask yourself, what is your exit number? You need an exit number so that you can avoid comparison. An exit number is basically that number you need to live comfortably based on your desired quality of living. I want to live a great lifestyle. I want to live in really nice places. I want to be wealthy. I want to be able to send my kids to the best school. I want to be able to go on incredible vacations. I want to be able to live life on my terms, and that's why money is really important. And if you're watching this video, I imagine you want a lot of those things as well. So think about, what is your exit number? How much money do you need to never have that feeling of, if I only had that much money, then I would never have economic concerns? Is your number $1 million? Is it $3 million? Is it $10 million? Is it $100 million? And keep in mind that this number should be specific to you. And one exercise to think about this is calculate your annualized expenses. So imagine you need $100,000 a year in order to live your quality of life, in order to live in a $2,700 a month apartment, in order to eat Chipotle 500 times a year, whatever it may be. Let's say you need $100,000 a year. Multiply that number by 25, which is basically a runway of 25 years of, if you had this much money, then you could live comfortably for 25 years based on that desired of lifestyle. So you would take $100,000 times 25, you would need $2.5 million. That would be your exit number if you wanted $100,000 a year. I want to bring this story to life. I was having lunch with the CEO a couple months back. Basically, I have a friend who's a banker, and through his bank, they loaned this guy money. And this guy founded a company that does tens of millions of dollars in revenue annually. He's an older guy, probably in his 50s. And I sat down with him at lunch and I said, look, I aspire to do what you have done. You have accomplished what I want. How does it feel? And he basically paused for a minute and he said, Trent, when you have infinite money beyond your wildest expectations or desires or what you need to actually live, you no longer ever have economic worries. You're never worried about where your next meal is going to come from, how you're going to get transported around, what you're going to do to set people up. You never have those concerns. They're alleviated. But you still have the emotional burdens of being a human, meaning people-to-people problems. You still get stressed, you still get anxious, you still have limited self-beliefs and doubts. So those deep-rooted feelings that you and I both have, those are never going away. As a result of having money, you just don't have to worry about money anymore. If you're enjoying the video to this point, hit the like button right now and subscribe to the channel because it really helps. And we're gonna end this video talking about wealth. You have a job and you make income. You need to figure out what to do with that income. You need a money machine. You need your money to be working as hard as you do. So you need an investment vehicle. You need to invest in assets. I think about assets as appreciating or productive assets. So an appreciating asset is buying a stock. You put $100 in a tech stock and you hope that it's going to be worth $500 at some point in the future. Meanwhile, a productive asset could be investing in a rental property. Basically, you put $100,000 in this property, you may have to use some debt, and it's going to return you $1,500 a month for doing no work. A productive asset pays you. Meanwhile, the appreciating asset, you hope that you can sell it for more in the future than what you bought it for in the past. So you want to have a mix of both. So as I think about investing, there's basically three primary investments I put all of my money into, which are my assets. And the more money I can make, the more money I can invest in my assets. And you're constantly also combating that lifestyle inflation, because now that I pay more for expenses, I actually have less disposable income to put in my investments, which in theory will slow down my asset growth over time, which is a problem. But I'm also playing the long game, and I'm more so worried about a big exit or creating a cash flow machine than I am about saving an extra $20,000 a year. Because if you think about that, 10% on $20,000, the delta in rent that I'm paying, that's $2,000 a year. Of course, you could span that across 20 years. And if you want to do the math, I probably won't sleep as well tonight if you do that in the comments, so don't do that. But basically, I invest in the stock market, and I've been absolutely crushed over the last few months. So you're not alone, and I'm not going to sell. And it's easy to lose confidence in the stock market, but keep in mind, if you're investing over a 5 to 10 year time horizon and you don't need that money right now, which I don't need the money right now because I'm going to produce more in the future, month over month, then it doesn't really matter. Now is actually a pretty good buying opportunity. I'm not telling you should buy in a stock, but a lot of stocks are down quite a bit. And if you believe in certain companies, it would seem logical to actually start buying and deploying your money in the stock market. Number two is real estate. A lot of you commented on my last video when I did an apartment tour. They said, Trent, that's so stupid. You could go buy a $1 million house in a suburb and it'd be great. It'd be so smart long term. I personally do not aspire to have a primary residence. I don't think it's a good investment. I actually think it's one of the worst things financially you can do if you want to become supremely wealthy relative to a normal person's expectations. So I'm not talking just $1 million in the bank. I'm saying I want a lot more than that. And I don't think a primary residence is necessarily going to help you do that. And if you guys want to hear my rationale, I'm happy to break it down if enough of you ask for that. So what I do instead is I invest in online real estate crowdfunding. I use a site called Fundrise. They are not a sponsor, and I'm not telling you to go invest your money there. I'm just saying I have put a significant percentage of my net worth into Fundrise, and the returns have been bananas. It doesn't fluctuate, so it appears that there's not as much volatility as the stock market, although that's their algorithm, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening. But you don't see the crazy fluctuations in real estate, especially commercial and industrial real estate. And I've been investing since 2018 and have never lost money, and it's only gone up. So I actually prefer that over the stock market nowadays. And then finally, cryptocurrency. So the way I think about crypto is I'm a novice, I don't know anything, and I'm the last person you should listen to in regards to crypto advice. But I am very bullish on the future of cryptocurrency. And if you believe cryptocurrency is going to work, then I think a smart investment is just to put your money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that's really it. And maybe there's some fringe tokens. I like Solana, maybe ApeCoin. There's some other crazy ones as well that are a lot more speculative. But if cryptocurrency works, those coins will absolutely appreciate significantly and probably be one of the best performing asset classes over the next decade if it works. If it doesn't work, it's all going to go to zero. So why speculate on those riskier assets when you could just put your money in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana? There's maybe a handful others that if it works, it's all going to go up. So that's really where I'm putting my money at this point. And 2 of the 3 of those assets are appreciative assets. One of them is productive asset. The Fundrise is actually paying me, although I reinvest the dividends. That's how I'm thinking about it. You need assets because you want your assets to be paying you more than your annualized expenses. So think about your exit number. Think about the annualized expenses. Now divide that by 12. Let's say you need $8,000 a month. If you could have passive income from your assets paying you $8,000 a month, then technically you would never have to work another day in your life. And that's really the secret to finance. How can you get your money to work for you so that you can live the quality of lifestyle you want with putting in as little effort and work as possible? As we wrap up this video, keep in mind that my only preparation were these 3 bullet points I wrote on this whiteboard right here. I basically wrote down money, produce more in the future, assets, exit number. That was my only preparation. Take my viewpoint and then formulate your own thoughts and think for yourself and decide how much do you actually want. You can have as much or as little as you want in life, and that's what I grew up believing, that I can have as much as I possibly want, and I'm gonna work for it. And that's why I put myself in situations like this one. If you didn't watch my apartment tour, go check that video out after this. I'll link it below, and you can see what $2,700 a month gets you in Dallas, Texas. I'm also gonna link the new episode to my podcast. We had a great interview with an enterprise software sales rep. I asked him a lot of hard-hitting questions, and he delivered some insights that I'm actually going to use in my day-to-day sales job, so I think you'll find it useful as well. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you in the next video.